Oh my God, I'm chasing down a couple of your neighbors.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And
Mark did, we know.
had 15. And they're both.
Two really wonderful properties.
They're. Since I sent them a really stern. Pointing out, oh, that was Rick, and that's right. The old team's. I've been having.
Okay. All right, I'm told that we're live now. I'm told that we're live now, so I'm going to call this meeting of the Village of Trumansburg Planning Board to order. This is our regular meeting for May of 2025. We have a quorum here. I'm expecting one more planning board member, our newest member, Jimmy Lynch. But he may be coming in a little bit late. Mark Debakaitis is not with us this evening. That's an excused absence for family issues. The first order of business is to approve the minutes of our April meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at those and review them? Any corrections or additions? Okay, so I guess I'll move that we accept the minutes of the April meeting. Is there a second for those?
I can second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved. So we have in front of us tonight two different public hearings. We'll conduct them each separately and open them and close them each separately so that we have a record then of having a public hearing for each application. And the first one is for the minor subdivision application at Camp Street, which we heard about in our April meeting and received all of the application materials. The only thing I'll really say about that is that just to remind folks that on that minor subdivision application like that, especially one that's very routine, it's not, it doesn't require any kind of environmental review. It's a type 2 action under the state environmental review regulations. And so the public comments can, but don't have to include issues that would relate to environmental factors. So those will not be a factor in our decision making. Apart from that, though, I think all we want to do is hear from the public. So I'll move to open the public hearing. Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that public hearing is open. Have we received any written? No, do we have any? No, just it's online. Any public comment from the people who are present? Yes, Mr. Cassetti.
Rob Cassetti, 2 Camp Street. I'm very interested in seeing the subdivision. And as a side note, thank you for your great service to the community.
Oh.
Go team.
Deb, anything else to add?
We would like to see the subdivision go through as well. Yeah.
Okay. I will say that I had one neighbor ask me a question about that, and it really didn't relate to whether to grant the subdivision or not. It was more just curiosity, but his question was, what are people who buy those properties going to do for sewer?
What Tom said would be the
Easement.
easement.
Yeah. Yeah, right. What was the plan when the nursery school bought it?
If we kept it as one big lot, it was big enough to have septic.
Right, okay, and so that was what,
Yes.
yeah, okay, I get it, all right. Okay, yeah.
There's another house there. That was
There
built
is?
recently.
I think they went down to South Street.
To South
Okay.
Street, yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay, so they must have gotten an easement from whoever owns the corner property, yeah,
Okay.
right. So there will be, if people buy those properties, there will be some either negotiations with about easements, or it'll be neighbors who just want a bigger
Yes,
backyard.
bigger.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Okay, I don't think there's any further comment unless there's questions, concerns from the planning board members.
Do you want to go?
I will.
Oh.
But yeah, okay, so I'll move that we close the public hearing. Thank you.
I'll second it.
Is there a second? for
I'll
that?
second.
Okay, I don't think will be any discussion of that. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, so that's unanimous. All right, so we've closed that public hearing. Now we're gonna move on to the next public hearing. And then after that, we'll have our planning board decision-making process, okay? All right, so the second public hearing, I'll move that we open that. That relates to 40 Cemetery Road. And again, we heard about that at our last meeting. And that is it's not a subdivision application, it's a site plan review application. And that is a little bit strange in our experience, because normally we don't do site plan reviews for single family residence construction. Usually it only happens for, 3 units or more, or a commercial operation. So, but in this particular case, we're required to have a site plan review because it's within the stream buffer overlay districts. Thank you, Tom. And for any kind of construction in that overlay district, the planning board is required to do a site plan review. And so that's why we're doing it. And last time we discussed it, we also reached the conclusion as a result of that discussion that this also is a type 2 action under the state environmental review regulations. And so it doesn't require any further in-depth environmental review other than the preliminary environmental questionnaire that we went through last time. Okay, so in terms of that, the environmental review is satisfied, and all we're doing now is applying our normal site plan review standards to this application. So I guess I'll move to open that public hearing. Is there a second?
I'll second. Aye.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
approve.
in favor? All right, so that public hearing is now open. And I assume we also don't have anyone
There's
online.
still nobody online.
Have we received anything in writing?
Yeah.
No. And I will confess, I have received no questions from my neighbors or others. So, okay, here we are at the public hearing. Is there any comment from the people who are here, including the applicant? I'm sure. Yeah,
You're in the right place.
yeah. Would you like it to stop raining too?
Yes.
Okay, I figured. Yeah. All right, so there being no apparent public comment on this, and I'll move to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that public hearing is closed, and now we can move on to our review of the Camp Street property. I don't need to do anything formal with respect to that because we've already got the application in front of us. Are there further comments, questions based on, your review after what we discussed last month?
Not okay, no.
Me neither. Seems pretty straightforward. We've gotten the required documentation that will be submitted to the Tompkins County Clerk once we approve this. And Jessica, in a normal, incredibly efficient way, will take care of that tonight. So that Deb, you will have, and we'll have what we need to move forward from here. But once we take action on this, whatever it is, basically then it turns to Jessica to work with her counterpart at the county and make sure all the things are dotted and all the things are crossed and make sure that, it meets mostly it meets the assessor's needs. So, okay. So if there's no further discussion, would someone like to make a motion to approve the site, the subdivision application for the Camp Street property?
Sure, I will move to approve the minor subdivision application for the Camp Street property.
Okay,
And I will second that.
thank you very much. Is there further discussion? One last chance. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that subdivision is approved. Congratulations. Normally we have like a trumpet call. Okay, so that one is off. Okay, excellent. All right, so now we'll consider the 40 Cemetery Road site plan review application. I've already given you a little bit of background and also explained why we won't be doing any further consideration of environmental factors. So in light of that, are there other questions or concerns that planning board members have in addition to what we talked about at our last meeting?
Again, I don't have any.
Okay,
No.
I don't either. Does the applicant have anything else to say about it? Okay. All right, so I need a motion now to approve the site plan for this property at 40 Cemetery Road.
I move to approve the site plan review application for 40 Cemetery Road.
I second.
Further discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and that one has also unanimously passed. You don't need to file anything with the county clerk or otherwise. Tom is your principal contact from this point on. Another one of our wonderful professional staff here. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And so I think we're done with our substantive matters. You're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting, which I'm sure will be riveting, just riveting. But okay, so we're moving on. Do we have any old business that anyone wants to bring? Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Nice to see you around.
We gotta get some surveys for that, right?
Yeah, right here, I have a question about that. It says, it's got a number on this, the approval of minor subdivision number. I've never given a number to one, do you know?
No,
I'm gonna leave it blank.
Yeah,
if we were doing
Yeah.
range of them,
It's
yes.
just or put not NA.
Or I could say it's the first one we signed, I just put a date on it. I'm gonna put today, I'm gonna take it.
Okay. There you
Her middle name is Roberts.
go.
Rules. Rules.
I thought maybe you were referring to the Supreme Court justice.
You just signed it, the site plan review application has a signature on it. an approval line, does it?
I don't believe.
It does not.
No,
Fascinating. It just is the minutes. Okay.
it's a
Yeah.
minute entry.
Well, and that, the survey is the approval document, I guess. But
No, the site
This-
plan
for
review
40
for Forty
Cemetery.
Cemetery, because the
Yeah.
application has a.
Well, normally we
Oh.
don't, you don't just have a, you know, it's just, you should,
The minutes are not, I just want to check it out of
right,
it.
yeah.
I've
We've got,
oftentimes.
this is what you keep for the, and this is what
This
was
goes in the
approved.
file.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so old business. New
We
business.
have, what's this?
Any updates?
Well, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask if there are any updates on the one Main
East Main.
Street,
On
the,
East Main.
Yeah.
I spoke with Mr. McGuire shortly after the meeting. I spoke with him and had emailed him and he said, okay, we'll do that. It'll be several weeks. We get the information about
Yeah.
the bulkhead and the wall, door through the wall, blah, blah, blah.
Right, right.
So
Yeah,
I think they're pretty focused on that landscaping.
yeah.
Yeah.
make it-
Did they
yeah.
get-
Make progress.
man, that has been something, huh?
Yeah.
And, yeah, with this weather, a real challenge.
You should have been there Thursday evening.
I'll bet,
That was
Yeah.
something.
yeah. That's quite a wall they've added on.
Yeah, the Masons
Looks
look really
really
good.
nice, yeah,
Very
yeah.
adept.
And they're doing those plantings on that.
Steep
Slope.
slope, and that's been my major concern.
Sure. I mean, my God, what if one of those pieces of equipment falls into the creek?
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
that's what I was.
Oh, wow.
What,
Yeah.
They have equipment big enough to get it out.
Well, I know they do,
Yeah.
but geez, would that ever cause a ruckus?
Well, it's breaking a gas tank, there's no oil.
Yeah, yeah.
did anything happen on Thursday?
Yeah.
Did they suffer any flooding?
There was some breaching of the silt fences that they repaired and they actually dug out a lot of stuff because now the creek is running pretty strong, but it's not on that bedrock level on the, what would you call it, the west side of the creek. So they're able to scrape that up and put it in the dumpster and haul it on.
And that was all scrub, you know, not native stuff anyway.
Oh, the stuff they took off, right, and there's protocol around, you don't just yank it out, you cut it off. Near the ground level, so the roots stay there and stabilize the soil, but they put quite a bit of topsoil and then mulch over it. And didn't really treat that well, and
Yeah.
that's what was causing me consternation.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, when you think about it, it really is all about the creek, you know.
Yeah,
And it's what was there before. Yeah, okay. Any other questions about pending matters? I expect we will be getting a, you know, an amendment to the site plan.
Yeah.
If they do decide to go forward on that.
GC
site.
has not gotten back to with the
Okay, yeah.
comment on proposed plan.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, no, I think they're, you know, on board in terms of, you know, keeping this in the loop on little changes that get made, so. All right. Well. That was an exciting. So, should I make the motion to end it again? That's the second time, okay. So I'll move to adjourn our meeting. So second,
I'll second.
in favor, aye. So
Aye.
that one also was unanimous. Amazing. Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Well, okay, so
This is-
so we can go offline.